Where were you when you found out what was going on in New York?
I was in the Title I office at Morton East High School.
What was your reaction?
I was shocked, and I didn't know what to think.
How old and where were you when you found out about 9/11?
I was 10, and I was in my 5th grade class.
How did you learn what was going on 9/11?
I had woken up a little later than usual and just happened to see that news was on. Saw it on TV.
What was your reaction?
At the time, I really didn't pay too much attention to it. I just getting ready for work, so it's like glanced at the TV, watched a little bit, and then got ready for work. So I guess you could say I didn't really have much of a reaction at all.
How did you learn about what was going on 9/11?
When I turned on the news and I saw a news flash of will not reveal location of the president.
What was your reaction?
Oh, I wonder why. What's going on?
Were you aware of the newsmen filming the people jumping out of the buildings to their deaths?
No, I was not aware of that. I didn't even see anybody really falling. Like I said before, I didn't really pay too much attention to it.
How do you feel about it now that you know?
I think it's kind of good that America can see what actually did happen, so they have a better understanding, even though it is a little graphic, actually a lot graphic. But it's good to see that the true horror of what actually did happen. So I think they did good when they recorded it.
Since you were so young, what was your understanding of what was going on?
I didn't have an understanding. I didn't really know what was going on. I just know that my mom came to my school and she took me out of my class and she made a really big deal and I didn't get it. She didn't let me go outside, which made me mad. So I was more worried about going outside than understanding what was going on.
How did this affect your sense of patriotism?
I became more patriotic. I wanted to sign up to go and fight, but I couldn't because I was a parent.
Do you still have any resentment towards the 9/11 incident when looking back?
Yes, too many innocent people were lost for no reason at all.
Do you think it was in any way particularly the fault of the government?
That's a question I really have a difficult time answering. I'm not very political, so I don't really follow what the government does or any kind of actions they're doing or taking. I don't even know what the national deficit is. I couldn't really answer. I don't know.
Do you think 9/11 will ever fade into history like Pearl Harbor has?
I do. Today I was on the train, okay, and I was coming home, and there was a billboard, and it said, September 11, 2001, we will never forget. And before that, it said, we'll never forget 12/7/1941. And I had to sit there and think, what is that? I didn't remember. So more and more people are going to be fading from the actual thing that's happening. We ourselves can't say that we personally experienced it, so it's only been 10 years, but soon enough, I think it's going to be the same thing.
Do you think it's likely to happen again?
I do think that it will happen again, simply because there are a lot of countries and a lot of people that dislike us and hate us, and that it is possible to happen again. I don't think it's going to be able to happen the way that it did the last time, but I believe that there will be more terrorist attacks, just because it's the way of the world. It's going to happen.
How did 9/11 affect the privacy of America?
Everything we do is monitored. The way we fly, the way we talk on the cell phone, who we talk to on the cell phone.
Do you think it affected the way children are growing up now as opposed to before? Why or why not?
I think it does have somewhat of a little effect. There's a little bit of difference. Like, for instance, when they go through airports, they have to deal with more security, more, checking their luggage and stuff like that. So that probably makes them a little insecure, perhaps. I'm not really sure.
How has this tragedy brought so many people together?
In a lot of ways. There's people all over the place where they come and they celebrate the lives of the people who made it, and they celebrate the lives of the people who didn't. They stand up for them, and every year, it's an anniversary, they do it. When we were younger, like I said earlier, we went to the schoolyard and we brought candles, and my mom used to tell me that a candle would be the significance of a life that was lost, and millions of people all over the place have candles. They have large things downtown Chicago. I'm sure Ground Zero. It's everybody comes together in a time of need like they're supposed to. So, yeah.
How do you feel about the way Bush and his staff handled the situation?
At the time, I was really upset because we knew who did it, and I felt that we should just, send people there and, wipe them out completely. But then, I realized with time that it's probably better to, let people calm down and then decide how to react. And so I think overall he handled it very well.
How did it affect you personally?
It affected me personally because my uncle is a Chicago firefighter, and he was one of the ones that traveled to go to New York to help recover bodies. And we didn't know if he'd make it home safely. So now we had to worry immediately.
Get your ass hurt.
Okay.
I'm serious.
I'm watching it.
We're on air. We can't speak to anybody. Stay with ourselves. That's it. Okay.
So I want to go first, please.
New York 1, NBC. Come here.
Is that it?
You got a mic?
Okay. All right.
Right on church. I'm ready, man.
Everyone in the city should remain calm. The very best thing to do right now would be to remain home. If you're outside of southern Manhattan, you should remain where you are. You shouldn't panic. You shouldn't worry. We're doing the best that we can to evacuate southern Manhattan below Canal Street. If you are in southern Manhattan below Canal Street, you should walk north and get out of southern Manhattan. And the police and the fire need all of the room and all of the space.
Gun locker. If they need to move that car,
Up in the air. So people should remain calm. They should remain where they are, except if they are in southern Manhattan. If you're below Canal Street, you should walk out of southern Manhattan and walk north, as these people are doing right here.
All right, that's cool. Do you know anything? Cool. Do you know anything about English? Yes.
All that we know right now is that 2 airplanes struck the two large towers of the World Trade Center. We spoke to the White House. There also apparently was an attack on the Pentagon. We asked that the airspace around the city of New York be sealed by military aircraft. We've been informed that it has been, and we've seen military aircraft up in the air. We're hopeful that right now things are secure. But it is a very dangerous condition in southern Manhattan. The rescue efforts are going to take place all day. So everybody in southern Manhattan, if they can physically evacuate, should, and they should just walk directly north. Get beyond Canal Street, go as far north as you
Safe in
can.
those buildings right around Park and Church?
All of the buildings in southern Manhattan have to be evacuated. We're evacuating them now. Either people on their own or with the help of the police department and the fire department. But people should get out of southern Manhattan other than emergency personnel so that we can get ambulances in, so that we can get emergency personnel in.
Mr. Mayor, can you tell us anything about what you know about where these aircraft may have come from?
All that I know is that two different aircraft struck the World Trade Center. While I was speaking to the White House, they confirmed to me that there was an attack on the Pentagon. I also know that there are military aircraft up in the air right now, because that was confirmed to me that they are doing the best they can to seal off the airspace around the city of New York. So we'll know more later. But right now, the major focus has to be on evacuation.
A claim of responsibility? Do you know anything about that?
I don't know anything about that. What I suggest again, and I urge anyone listening to this, calmly and safely evacuate Lower Manhattan. If you are south of Canal Street, walk north and get out of southern Manhattan for two reasons. The dangerous smoke condition, obviously, but secondly, we need all of the open space we can get to evacuate people, to get people out, and we're going to have to move now and go north. So
I need all media to cooperate and make this cool. This has got to be cool.
What is 9/11 to you?
Unity. It brought America together and the people, how to work together, be there for each other in time of emergency.